Welcome back to DxO Tutorials. Let's edit, guys. Hey, if you haven't checked out under Edit here, if you go down to Preferences, hit Preference there. I'm on a PC. There is the preset. Basically, it's default corrections that DxO is going to make whenever you import any image. These corrections can, of course, be disabled. You can edit those in quite a few ways. You can see I have mine set up, my raw images. I want DxO to do standard corrections. So let's take a look at those standard corrections really quick. Basically, the list of standard corrections that DxO is going to make is vignetting, and don't confuse that with the vignetting tool. Vignetting tool. It is just a correction tool. That is all it's doing, is correcting any vignetting that might be currently happening in that image. On to, let's see what's going on in color. Let's see it. A little bit of color rendering. Raw white balance, it adjusted. Chromatic aberration. Added a little bit of what they call high quality denoise. Lens sharpness, just a default lens sharpness based on the optics of my lens. Some anti-distortion there, and it looks like some sort of a crop type something. Not sure what that's doing, but it's auto. I think it's just holding the picture in place, perhaps. Anyways, guys, let's get busy on this picture. I have no idea what the crop is doing. Well, what we could do, what we can do is just let's get rid of it and see what happens. Nothing. So exactly, it's just holding that picture steady. Let's get busy on this picture and see what we can do for this bird with some local edits, global edits. Let's see. I've not done a whole lot of bird edits in DxO. I'll be completely honest about that. Just because I have a workflow going in Luminar. I really like the way Luminar's fine details renders the bird's feathers and all the wonderful aspects when you look at a bird. So I'm going to I just hit the contrast up here while I'm talking to 15. Micro contrast, I'll just go with what DxO is recommending. I'm going to go to spot weighted here, and even though, let's check out the exposure really quick while we're here and see what kind of detail we can get out of that bird. Yeah, he's all there. So we'll set the exposure back, and while we're here, let's just check out, we can control W and check out our highlights, and we'll control B and check out our shadows, which I see no problems with. You can look at our histogram there. It looks like a pretty well exposed image. So we're in spot weighted. We're going to go ahead and use our tool. And I think I'm just going to pretty much just square out the face. Actually, let me do that over. Just the head area. And I'm not doing that very effectively. Let's start right here. Just the head area of this bird. And we will check out Clearview Plus while we're here. Let's kill these highlights a little bit. Don't really need to too much. Bring up some of those midtones and raise my shadows. There we go. Seeing some details come out in the feathers now. If you're not, for a long time, I just did not give my shadows, you can see even more details coming out down here. I did not give shadows enough attention. And really, it just adds so much to pictures that would otherwise you would never see those details. So just boosting my shadows there, and you can really see in this belly right here how all the little feathers are starting to come out. And I'm pretty happy with that to start with. Before I add vibrance, I'm going to check my temperature. You know, this picture just feels a bit warm. It was actually a pretty wintry day. Pretty blistery. So I'm just going to cool it off a little bit. There we go. Very nice. And let's hit it with some vibrancy. We can deal with that. Now, I always go easy on the sharpening because I often, like I said, my workflow, often I will send it to Luminar from here. Really quick, how do I do that, given that DxO does not handle plugins, is I just go up here to File and I will export to application. There are some default applications. However, in this case, I just export to application. Luminar shows up, gives you a little list. But I am going to add, just because it is a avian creature and feathery, I'm going to add some global sharpness. DxO did add sharpness based on the lens optics, but I'm just going to add some sharpness and detail myself. I would think I was saying I really enjoy the fine details, small details within Luminar, so oftentimes I'll kind of hold back on sharpness in DxO. However, this is looking just fine. Yeah, so I'll tell you what we'll do is head into our local adjustments. And we're going to go ahead and turn off our shadows and turn off our highlights. And once again, that is a Control W for highlights and Control B for shadows. And here we have our first viewpoint we're going to drop, and I'm just going to drop it pretty much in the widest area here. Now, while I'm looking around for the widest area, how I'm doing this actually is I'm looking over here, just in the right-hand corner of that histogram, and I'm judging where I'm going to drop this based on what I see there, not really what I'm looking at on the screen. So I'm just going to drop it about right there. And I want to affect all that little white tone. Just bring it down just a little bit. And while I'm here, I'm going to head down to Sharpening and give some local sharpening to those feathers. I'm going to move this up. And I'm pretty happy with that. Just taking a look here. Bringing out some of the highlights just on the white tones selected there. I'm just going to just hit those highlights a bit. Very nice. Now, if you ever want this tool out of your way, you can just hit E, and it'll remove the equalizer there. And I'm pretty happy with that. So we're going to right-click once again on his feet, or it doesn't matter, just right-click on the screen here. We're going to add a new mask so that what we do next here is not in any way connected to what we have done to the body here. And what I think I'm going to do is just grab a auto mask, and we're going to, if you want to move up on a screen, just hold the space bar. I'm going to grab the auto mask here, and to control, you can always hit control wheel, and that will control the size of your brush. And now let's size this brush up. All we really want to do is just get the inside, the dark part of that circle within the lines of our little coloring book here. So I'm going to bring this down just a little bit more before I start painting. And then we can just start applying the auto mask. I'm just going to... And I think I'll do the same to the right leg here. You can see I went a little out of the lines. And let's see how AutoMask did on this. I want to just bring the exposure down on this slightly. I don't see any problem. Let's add some detail. To those little delicious chicken legs. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not a chicken. Very nice. So let's just hit E and we'll get rid of the equalizer there. And get out of local adjustments real quick and back up and take a look at what we've done. Very nice. We can compare before, after. Hey, are we done? I don't know. Let's see. What can we do any more for this? Just the background is a nice little bokeh. There's a nice separation between the background and the bird. What I'm going to do here is go back into local adjustments. And I'm going to, once again, right-click. Once again, new mask. I don't want it to be connected to any of these other control points. Let's take a look over here where you see this equalizer symbol next to effects. It's the second to the right there. You can hit that and easily see all your control points just by hovering over. Hover it and discover. So what I want to do is just come up. I'm going to click just on these on this light tone right here. And excuse me, I'm going to switch that over to a control point here. Let's back up. I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to right click. I want to put this in the right spot so I can cover as much space as possible. So I'm going to right click about new mask and I'm going to just, let's see, still searching here. I'm going to put it about right there and bring this down. And we'll add some sharpness to the brown tones. We're going too far there. Yeah, let's back it up a bit. There we go. Once again, E, just E will get rid of, see what we've done? Beautiful. I can deal with that. And one more. Back into local adjustments. I'm going to take a look at the little avian eye here. Very nice. I think I want to just get really close here, and we're going to right click, new mask layer, and we're going to use an auto brush, control wheel, and we're just going to come in here. And just get the inside of that eye right there. And we're going to just bring the exposure down slightly on the inside of that eye. Try to get some of that natural pinkness out of it. Well, I want to leave the, I want to leave the glare, the light in the eye, because you always want that center eye focus, but I just want to get a little bit out of that fleshy tone from the rim there. And we'll back. There we go. Now, looking really good there. Might be a little even red. A little too red, possibly. What do you think? Looks like he might have an eye infection now. Let's go back in here. And there I got my auto mask. And I am a little bit there we go. You know, I was clicking on that. I was a little bit baffled on why the equalizer wasn't coming up. And I just gave up on clicking on it and just went ahead and hit E. So I don't know if I'm happy with what I did to the exposure on his eye, because it looks good up close, but from a distance it just starts to look too red. So this auto mask, you can see it right here. I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. Not going to need it. We'll just stick with these 3 control points we have. We have one on the body there, another dealing with his legs, kind of bring some color out, and another on the darker feathers in the back. I am going to add one more, and it's just going to be on his beak here. I think new mask, and we can just use a control point, because this isn't isolated. This yellow is very isolated, so we'll just drop one right on the yellow right there. And I just want to get a little more color out of his beak if I can. Just like that. That might be a little too much. Don't want to go overboard. And we could even sharpen it up a bit while we're here. Let's see if we could pull some texture out of there. Some details. Okay. What do you think about this wall? Is it, yeah. Let's just go ahead back into control points really quick. This wall might just be a little distracting. So I'm just going to isolate this lighter tone here and open this up. And just drop that lower wall tone down a bit, just because I don't want him to compete with my bird. Really, so E, and we can get rid of that. Let's back up. Very nice. Got a nice little bird there. That is well, it's my idea of editing a avian little bird. Nice little seagull down at the beach in DxO. Thanks for watching, like, and subscribe. See you next time, guys.